everybody's good. Just made coffee. I think some of you could hear it. Yeah. Hold on, I'm just making sure I have the right mic on here and everything good, because we had a whole bunch of technical difficulties the other day. We don't want to repeat that. But I hope everybody's great. Let me just make sure everything's flowing, and then we'll get right into the show. Everything does appear to be working. Anyway, thank you so much for the support recently. Ooh, a bit of an echo right now. Echo's good now. Okay, yeah, I just fixed it. All right. Thanks for all the support lately. My subs have really hopped up. I'm not sure if that's a bump from the vlogging or what that's from, but we're over 13. I was politicking to get to 12, maybe 2 shows ago, 12,000 subs on YouTube. Now we're over 13,000. So great. Awesome. Welcome to all the new people. Appreciate everybody. We're on 3 places today. We're on my channel, my YouTube channel. We're on the MLB YouTube channel today, and we're also on my TikTok channel. So all 3 places. Really appreciate you guys a lot. What kind of coffee? Great question. Coming from Nate Gutierrez. This one is actually, let me go grab it. Finally got around to trying these, courtesy of Mitch. If you've watched vlog number 1, you know Mitch, but my buddy, he's always here in the chat. Unicorn Blood, espresso blend. Pretty crazy, but that's what we're going with right now. Dark Matter is the name of the company, so that's what I am on right now. Also, SideQuest episode 3 comes out at noon today, so that's going to drop right as I sign off today. So that'll be there, Old Timers Day. It's only 26 minutes, much more concise. I feel like I'm editing a little better now. Take you along for the ride, and it's a fun one. So I'll be surprised if this one doesn't get some views, but we'll see. Anyway, checking everybody out in the chat really quick, and then we'll get going. Can you do Durbin and Tolle? Definitely want to watch Tolle. We definitely got to talk Edwin. We were talking about it earlier on the Discord. I was giving Spectre a hard time, but there's reason to panic, because if your closer loses confidence, he can't be your closer. So we got to watch what's going on with Edwin, and then we'll get in from there. TikTok might have invigorated YouTube subs. Seems to always be hopping. Well, TikTok's definitely been a big level up. I have to give credit to my nephew Davis for that information. He was like, you should really be streaming on TikTok. People will come over through there. You know, and when I'm out and about, I see a lot of kids, and when they do talk to me, they say they watch me on TikTok. So if you want to watch me, I don't care where you do it from. It's great. But definitely appreciate it. Big shout out to Davis. Any chance we can go back, check out the Wheeler-Leahy matchup? I'm good with that. I was giving Spectre a hard time, which is pretty much the theme of our Discord. Good point. Good point. That's funny. Walbert Urain is on the list as well today. But my question in the YouTube chat was about the Rays. So we're going to start just thinking about the Rays for a second, because the Rays just completed a perfect West Coast swing, 3-city trip from the east to the west. It doesn't happen very often. I mentioned in the Discord, I think it's a little easier. I mean, it's not easy, but easier than going from west to east, just because of the jet lag. You're usually pretty tired when you go west to east the first day or so. When you go east to west, that's less of a factor. You feel good usually. And you go and get into that, you know, usually the California air, you feel really good. But that being said, going 9-0 on a West Coast swing is crazy. It looked like the Red Sox were going to creep up and take this division. But it's an evolving situation. The Rays have won 9 in a row, 9 out of their last 10, but literally 9 in a row. Now they're going to be home. They play Baltimore. They're 6.5 up on the Yankees, who just played a pretty good series, but lost yesterday 1-0 to the Mariners. So they won 2 out of 3. That's been the Yankees lately. 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But 2 out of 3 is where they're at. Red Sox had a weird week. They did have a nice win yesterday. And then, you know, the Blue Jays, who won that series, they're only 2 out of the wild card. I mean, it's not an exciting team by any means at the moment, but you could see a world in which 4 American League East teams get into the playoffs. Is that possible? 4? Have we ever seen that? I don't think so. I'd love to watch Soriano as well. In any given 2-week stretch, the Rays or Red Sox will seemingly never lose. I'm with you guys. It does feel that way in a lot of circumstances right now. Let me just do a quick look-see around. Okay, we're doing good. Everything fine. All right. So here's our standings. Look, we just did the AL East. Rays are rolling. Can 4 teams make it out of this division? I think it's possible. I really think it's possible. All right, AL Central, White Sox 2.5 up on the Tigers, who are now, I think, in playoff contention. I have to check in playoff position. I have to check the wild cards, but they're right there. They've actually played better without Skubal and Mize. It could just be coincidental, but they do have some really good young players, and I think AJ has done a nice job of keeping the clubhouse together and their minds in the right spot, knowing that they were going to have a shakeup at the deadline. Twins are only 1 out of the wild card. Guardians are a 1.5 games out. All those teams are still a factor in the Central. We'll see how it shakes out. AL West, Houston 2 up on Texas, 5 up on the Mariners, who just lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees, and they've lost 3 out of their last 7. They have a massive series coming up right now in Houston. Massive series. If Seattle's going to get back in it, they got to win this series, in my opinion. Seattle versus Houston in Houston at the Juice Box coming up over this weekend. Rangers lost to DeGrom last night. That didn't look good. Something happened there with his triceps. That's not a great play. I just have to respond really quick to this. Do I know Sungwon Oh? Hell yeah, I know Sungwon Oh. That's my guy. I was trying to convince him to come on at some point, and tell us his story a little bit about Korea, which I think we might be able to have happen at some point. Either Cleveland or Detroit feels a bit more likely to make the playoffs than the Jays, in my opinion. I agree. The Jays don't feel likely, but they're only 2 out. They did just play a good series. So, again, honestly, the expanded playoffs, I think it's great once we get to the playoffs because we have more playoff games to consume. But, I don't like the dynamic necessarily of teams that don't have any business being in the playoff hunt, and trying to wrap my mind around that. All right, Analyst, Braves 9 up on the Phillies. Braves have played so well coming out of the break. Kind of surprising, a quick turnaround. You got to give credit to Walt Weiss and everybody else. Phillies had a win last night in the Field of Dreams game. We'll check in on that. But they are 9 back in the division, although they are in playoff position at the moment. NL Central, Brewers 6-4 in their last 10, but the Cubbies are 8-2 in their last 10. So that lead is shaved down to 4. Brewers ended up walking off the Dodgers last night in a very Brewers fashion, I believe. Bunch of rally hits, so we'll check that out in a minute. Cardinals are trying to stay in it, 3 out of the wild card. Reds and Pirates are sinking, and I think the Pirates are sinking fast, and I'm look for them for heads to roll there. We'll see. Although they did win yesterday behind Ashcraft, which we'll watch. Dodgers 8 up on the Padres. A little bit of panic in Dodgerland, I get it. But I think they're going to cruise to the division. I guess the bigger question now is, can they finish with one of the top 2 records? That's going to be important in the National League, so you can skip the wild card round and get the bye. As of right now, that's a race between them, the Braves, and the Brewers. I still think they get there, but we'll see, and I understand the panic a little bit. All right, wild card, American League, we just talked about it. It's a jumbled mess, but Detroit is currently in at the moment. So it's all these teams are going to duke it out, looks like, for the last spot. Detroit, Texas, Minnesota, Cleveland, and yes, maybe Toronto and Baltimore, and the Mariners. So, I don't know. A lot of teams, only one can prevail there. And in the National League, it's a little tighter. Cubs are way ahead, but then Padres, Phillies, Diamondbacks are all really neck and neck for 2 of the last 3. Marlins and Cardinals kind of kicking around. I think the Pirates are toast, though, guys. I really do. I really, really do. Race for the buys in the NL is the thing. Yeah, that's the big deal, I think, for the Dodgers right now, and I get why they're stressed. I get it. Have a chance to speak on the Feds game situation last night. The Federales. Explain what's going on with Edwin Otto. Oh, I'm going to try to. We're going to try to take a look at that. That's going to be the first thing, probably. Let's go watch some of that stuff. I don't think Skeens is out of shape, but I think his mechanics are messed up, and I think he's trying to fix it midstream, and I think his workload's starting to catch up to him for the first time, and he's a couple ticks down. I expect him to come roaring back at some point, but he's starting to limp to the finish line in this season a little bit. Whether it's execution or velocity, things seem to not be consistent from week to week. I don't think he's injured or broken, but he's definitely not in top form. I mean, that's obvious. I agree the Rangers look bad. I'm surprised they're so far in it, but they do look bad. And Reds game, yeah, that's the Field of Dreams game. All right, let's check the coffee cups from last night. Rafael Flores Jr., 2 home run game, 6 RBI game. Caleb Durbin had a salami. He went 3 for 5, 5 RBIs. Schwarber had 2 home runs in the Field of Dreams game. WPAs, yeah, that's crazy. Negative WPA for the top coffee cup winner is wild. Max Muncy had actually the highest WPA with the clutch home run late. Not that it mattered. Stevenson, Sal Stewart also on the list. There was also some fireworks in that game where Sal Stewart got a couple balls close to his head. Cavalli, 8 shutout. That's amazing. Ashcraft, we're going to talk about that. Tolle, got to talk about that. He's on an absolute burner. Urania's been great. Gilbert was great against the Yankees. Nola looked good, so we should probably just get into it as fast as possible. Let me quickly check the prospects. Tibbs, another Dodger guy, 2 homer game yesterday. Davalan, 2 homers. Arias, who's been great for the Red Sox. I saw some questions whether they can call him up or not. I don't see why not, although Story is kind of in the picture. That's interesting. See how that goes. But home runs all over the place from these prospects. As for the pitchers, Liam Doyle, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 Ks. And Braylon Dowdy, 3 innings, 1 K. All right, let me quickly get in the chat, and then we're going to get started here on everything. Where can I get that hat? Baseballandcoffee.com. I will ship it right out to you if you place an order. Yep, baseballandcoffee.com. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Cubs might pass the Dodgers in seeding. I mean, we'll see. But I find it hard to believe that they won't have one of the top 2 records. But, you know, we'll see. This is the question about Arias. I saw a bunch of these. The thing with Story is he's quite streaky. And so if he starts bad, you almost pull the plug right away. Maybe you try to catch lightning in a bottle with him. If not, you pivot quickly to Arias. But I don't know. Arias is young. There's no guarantees there either. No idea what the Red Sox are going to do. But if when they make a decision, you know they're going to be bold with it because that's how Breslow's been. What are the Yankees going to do when Rodon comes back? I think at the moment, probably Will Warren. This is funny. Probably Will Warren to the bullpen at this point. I think Weathers has outperformed him, so I think Weathers stays for now. And I think Will Warren could be a good piece maybe in the pen. What is the schedule for Baseball and Coffee? Typically Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to about 12. Sometimes it moves around. It's a live stream, so I try to be consistent, but life gets in the way. For sure. Would Story ever play second? Well, he's a tremendous team guy, so I could maybe see that. That could definitely happen. Ayo, you don't fear that if the Sox call up Arias, he could lose a year of development with the upcoming lockout? Well, either way, if there's a lockout and the whole season gets lost, he's going to lose in general a year of development. Maybe you get his feet wet in the big leagues now. I don't know what the calculus is with the lockout, but me personally, my head's been a little bit in the sand because I think they're going to play next year as ugly as it's going to get, so we'll see. Edwin's thrown 260 pitches. What's this comment? Where is that? I just saw it. God, the comments are coming so fast. There was some comment. It looks like it got deleted, but there was... Oh, here it is. 260 pitches this season and lost 9% of his career WAR. Harsh. Life of a reliever. Oh, the lockout's happening, but it's about missing games. It's about missing games. The lockout's a certainty. It's just a matter about missing games. Will they miss games? I think no. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. All right, so we got to start with Edwin. This has been a hot button topic. The guy's got a 12 ERA in 14 games this year. I know he was hurt, then he came back. He had the Scooble scope. It was a little more invasive, I think, than Scoobles, but he did come back. The stuff looked good the first few games. But you see the expected ERA. I mean, it's not lying. I mean, he's become pretty hittable based off of the contact quality he's given up. He's also got way too many walks, and we know he can't hold runners. So there's some negatives with Edwin, obviously. But there's also a lot of positive once he gets rolling. He's literally coming off of a 1.63 last year in 62 games with 98 strikeouts. But you got to wonder if all this is going to get to him. He wants to be loved. Dodger fans are not going to be in love with him at the moment. He actually threw, I thought, a lot better than his results in some of these early games where he came back, but he did give up runs in 4 straight, which was troublesome. Then he cleared the slate with a good game against Kansas City, but you got to parlay that into the second game, third game, fourth game. and yet he didn't. This game versus the Brewers happened last night. 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So without having even looked at the outing yet, I'm happy they didn't have any walks. That's a good sign. But every single time the ball got put in play, it was a hit. So were these hit hard? How did this look? What do we think? What would I do if I was Dave Roberts? These are all good and very fair questions. All right, so player breakdown on Sugar. He threw 15 heaters, 9 sliders. He averaged 96.5, which is slightly above his year average. Slider was a little bit up off year average. He got 4 whiffs on 8 swings, which is a very good rate. He threw 83% first pitch strikes. So it looks like he just got hit. 2 of them are hard hit. So let's not bury it. Let's just get into it. Brewers, Dodgers. I mentioned the Brewers are the type of team you can't let them get 1 inch. They'll take the whole damn thing. This is probably one of the worst case scenarios for Edwin is facing a team like this, but let's check it out. All right, so he's going to strike out Contreras to lead it off. 4-seam strike. I've continued to say I think his stuff looks pretty good, but I'm not sure that the delivery is fully dialed in yet. Also, I keep noting that when he tends to go heavier slider, he tends to have more success. Now, this wasn't a great sign, this pitch right here, because this is a 1-2 hump it up situation, and he actually throws slower on this pitch and misses his spot by the entire strike zone, basically. And a lot of times it comes down to how competitive can your pitches be. You're going to miss the zone, but can they at least be competitive? And then that's a backup slider, to be fair. That slider did not have very good action. Now, Edwin's slider typically plays like a changeup. That's true. But this isn't a very quality pitch. This is not located well. It just works out. So he does strike out the first batter. One fix I would look for the Dodgers maybe to make is have Edwin spam more sliders, especially early in counts. But let's see. Anyway, that was a nice fastball.
Well, it's just as a hitter, you're going like, come on, like I can't even do anything with that.
Pulls that one a little bit off the edge, and then here's a hit. So fastball, fastball, fastball. I definitely question the usage here. You got to be more aware, to me, that no matter how good your fastball is, and listen, it ain't what it used to be, you cannot just continue to spam fastballs down in the zone. You're going to give up some contact with that. So I fault Edwin a little bit on that. Location and choice. Base hit there. Next up. There it is. That's a quality 97 right by David Hamilton. Mind you, it's a 2-run lead. This should be a comfortable appearance for Edwin because he doesn't have to worry about the runner stealing, which is that's a real issue. It's a real issue. Of course, you'd like a double play, but he doesn't pitch for that anyway, so you don't worry about the runner. 2 runs is actually ideal for Edwin right now, but that's a non-competitive miss. You can't afford to make a lot of non-competitive misses. There's a good slider. Seems to me like the slider's a good choice. All right, here's another one. Okay, pulled that one a little bit, and then a fastball. And that's just middle. Middle. Bad location there. Not getting the fastball up. I mean, he didn't have any walks, so there's technically his control was okay, but the command has not been good. All right, so first and third, and now he's in trouble because he's back to the top of the order, and he's got a speedster on first who's very likely to easily steal second. So this becomes a very uncomfortable situation. That's a good fastball right there on the edge. Now back to the slider. Pretty non-competitive, pretty low. That's a competitive pitch, but ultimately a ball, and now he's in a 3-1 count. That's where he needs his heater to end up, more at the top of the zone with that run ride. When he gets the ball there, he's usually fine, but he's made a lot of mistakes in the middle. Let's see what he does on 3-2. Slider, let's see the location. Actually, pretty good location. Surprised that that even got a swing because I thought that was a ball out of hand, but it's a little dinker into right. Got to give credit for Chourio for that. But also, you know, he got into a deep count here. And now you let yourself in this situation, I think, with a poor pitch selection to that first batter. It seemed like nothing to Joey Ortiz, but I think that was bad selection that might have led to this. Anyway, credit to Chourio, a little dinker into right. That's hit number 3. think this is going to be hit number 4. Here's Mitchell. 98 too. Also, why is it taking him so long to pump 98? If he's got 98 in the tank, I'd like to see it a little bit earlier. But right now it's a back against the wall situation that's maybe activating it. Slider in. It's not a horrible pitch, but it's a hittable pitch. And in this spot, you can't give up contact. So what I think is he's got control, but a big-time lack of command in terms of his execution here. And I also think he's pitching forwards to backwards too much, a little bit too much fastball to then slider. I'd like to see him go the other direction. All right, here's going to come a strikeout, and then they're going to pull him here. Backdoor fastball to Gary. Slider painted down and away. And then probably fastball backdoor again. Now that was a good fastball, so that's a good strike. All right, so what do I see? I don't see a guy who can't be salvaged. I see a guy who could be good. However, he is getting hit a little bit, and you see the lack of command within the zone, and this has always been a thing with him. He's got control to some extent, but he doesn't have his best stuff like he had before. So he's becoming a little more hittable, and this is becoming a little bit of an issue in my opinion, because his whole thing is just strike everybody out, and then you don't have to worry about anything going wrong out there. But, you know, he allowed contact to all 4 of those guys, and a couple of them were bad choices, and they were right down the middle. Let's see what Stuff Plus has to say at the moment. Because it just looks to me like he's a tick down stuff-wise. Like, it's not bad, like he's not hurt, but to me it looks a tick down. Let's see what Stuff Plus has to say. Yeah, they have him right now as a 107 Stuff Plus on the season. Still above average, but not where he was. Not where he was. In the famous season of 2022, when we played together, he put up a 128 Stuff Plus with 132 Stuff Plus on his slider. And then it started to decline a bit, but he's still double digits in both of those pitches the previous 2 years. And then this year, big-time drop-off to 105, 109. Should be good enough to get the job done, but he doesn't have good location. Historically, you see his location plus. He's not a guy who walks the house, but he's the type of guy that, again, he doesn't have great command within the strike zone, so he needs his stuff to play, and right now you see the stuff's a tick down. Now, if you're the Dodgers, what do you do? What do you do if you're the Dodgers? Me personally, I'd probably take him out of the closing role right now because these games are important, and I think you need to get him rolling, and I probably pop him out of the role for a little bit and see if I can't get him going maybe when you're chasing a game, down 1 or 2 or up 4 or 5. Just try to get him in a good moment, and then once you can get a couple games under your belt, work him back into leverage. But, you know, Scott's had a nice year. Dreyer's been pretty good. That was floated out there, but they have plenty of options to cover the ninth. They played well the whole year without him. So, you know, Enriquez can go in there. Scott can go in there. I mean, they can figure it out, but that's what I think they'll probably do. Bottom line is, where are we at? August 14th. He's got about a month to figure it out. But right now, he's definitely looking a tick down. So that's what I would say. He's a tick down. Is he close? Yes. Is he broken? No. Can you trust him in the ninth inning? Probably not right now, but you also got to see what the confidence factor is. So that's what I see from him. Arm angle at 15 degrees. Last year was at 19. So yeah, arm angle down. Although I don't have the TJ stuff or anything about the arm angle specifically from the last few games. That could be a factor. Just getting under his pitch a little bit. That would probably affect his slider more than anything else. And then probably some of the command of his fastball. Where's he been the last few years? That's 20, 22. He was at 23. So the arm's been sliding down over time, huh? This is the lowest he's been. He's at 15 degrees. That's probably too low. So let's try to get his hand back on top of the ball if I'm the Dodgers. That's something I'd be thinking about a little bit. Probably go throw that clean fuego tool a lot. Anyway, that's kind of what I would think. But we're going to move on from the Dodgers at this point. All right, let me get back into the chat. Yeah, it was just a poor location there. Generally, how would elbow surgery lead to loss of command? The thing is he's got control-ish. He's throwing strikes-ish. The last couple games, he's thrown a lot of first pitch strikes, but it's command within the zone. That's not usually a health thing. It's more of an ability you have or don't have. And I don't think Edwin's ever really had the ability to paint think he throws strikes. I don't think he's a painter. I don't think he's just not. He's just not that type of pitcher. I did see Tolle. We're probably going to look at Ashcraft and a whole bunch of pitchers. I think give him the 8th for now, move him into leverage after that once he has his feel back. Can we please watch Jackson Jobe? We watched him his last start. He looked tremendous. I'm excited to see him again today. I love his delivery. His pitches are amazing. He's super nasty. Ooh, we got a super chat from Richard Cinema. What are your thoughts on the St. Louis Cardinals pitching staff? They have the 10th best ERA in the MLB. Also, I love your podcast. All right, so we'll head this direction first, and we'll actually watch the Leahy. We'll rewind a little bit for Leahy Wheeler because of this question, and then we'll get into the other pitchers after that. So, a couple things about the Cardinals that's crazy to me. 10th best ERA in MLB, but I think they have the least amount of whiff in MLB. Least amount of strikeouts in MLB, maybe? Or they're right there. They're 5th least in strikeouts on the pitching side. Yeah, 5th least in strikeouts. I think in strikeout, in miss rate, they might be the lowest. Whiff rate, fourth lowest in whiff rate. So this is one of those things that you would think wouldn't be possible to be this low ranking in whiff and strikeout and still be 10th best in ERA. But they have a really good defense behind them. Weatherholt's been huge. They're great up the middle, Wynn and Weatherholt. I think they do a great job with their game planning. I think that they've mixed a ton. Their pitchers have mixed a ton. And that leads me to Kyle Leahy, who pitched in this game that we want to watch, that we want to speed watch a little bit. He's been on a run. 23 starts, 9-4, 117 and a third, 105 strikeouts, 1.34 whip. So he's allowed some traffic, but he's been able to work around it. But overall, I mean, yes, the expected numbers are bad, and you're going to see that a ton because of the lack of whiff when you watch Cardinals. But they've been able to make it work, and I think they have a great coaching staff, and I think they have a lot of know-how over there, and they kind of understand how they're trying to fit, maybe a square peg in a round hole here. But Leahy's been one of the reasons why they've been able to get the job done, because he's been very consistent on the mound. These are his last, going all the way back into June. 6 1/3 and 0 versus the Diamondbacks. 5-1 versus the Marlins. 5-0 versus the Cubs. 3-0 versus the Braves. That was a rain out. 6-1 versus the Angels. I actually did that game for ESPN. He looked great. 6-2 versus the Reds. 6-1 versus the Jays. 5-2 versus the Rockies. And then 5-1 versus the Phillies. This was on the 12th. So this is a couple days ago. So he's been really good. And in that same game, Wheeler pitched. Let me go to the box score in that game real quick, as we're backtracking a little bit. He pitched 5-1, like I mentioned, and then they got 5 runs, 4 earned off of Wheeler. So we'll speed watch through this game a little bit and see what we see. But Kyle Leahy, man, he's been pretty damn impressive, I have to say. And this is kind of, between him and Palante and Liberatore, they'll throw you a couple starts out there where they go like 5, 6, 7 innings, 1 run, 2 runs or less with like 3 strikeouts. Like, they're doing a good job. Is it necessarily sustainable? Will it play in the postseason? Probably not, but it's been pretty damn good for them to carry it through this far in the season. Anyway, he threw 19 heaters, 17 sliders, 16 changeups, 12 sweepers, 9 curveballs, and 8 sinkers. Big key here is first pitch strikes. They've been great at that all year, 75% first pitch strikes. Keep the ball on the ground or straight up in the air. He's not doing it with whiff, but that's the same all year. So, Cardinals, Phillies. From a couple days ago. And here's Leahy. We'll just watch all of his result pitches, see how he got his outs. We'll see if the defense shows up at all in this outing. So there's a changeup, which has been a great pitch for him. He's got a kick changeup. Catches Schwarber looking for the first out of the game. What do you think about pitches thrown over for both pitches, Cardinals and Cubs? I don't do gambling on here. Liberatore has an ERA starting with 5. Come on, man. That's not a competitive starter. I mean, my point is they've used the same starters pretty much the whole year. They've been able to go through the cycle over and over and over again and be okay considering they don't have any nasty guys or any depth. They come out there and they find a way. Liberatore's had some good starts. He's either been hot or cold. When he's been bad, they flat out just lose the game, but he's pitched well enough in a lot of games to win. And so that's sort of a weird trick for them, and that's why they beat their run differential quite a bit. So anyway, fly out there, and then a called strikeout down freeze to Harper. So a really good first inning for Leahy. Here is the second inning. And Arise. Little slider in a weird location, loops it out to left, one out there. Here's going to be a hit from Stott. McGreevy as well. And McGreevy's another one that's a tough eval right now in the modern game. He throws like 89, 91. But he's been able to have a lot of success. I think the defense is a big part of what they do, and also I think their game planning is really good. All right, here's a ground ball. Weatherholt, who's been one of the better defenders in the game, and I mentioned Mason Wynn. How hard did he throw this ball? He must have thrown this ball over 100. Because this is too slow to be a double play. Unbelievable. But it was a double play, so on to the third. Arise went to the Phillies and got cold. Second best farm system, amazing young core, will eventually be back to being one of the best soon. I have no doubt that the Cardinals will be a big factor in the NL Central very fast. There's that right-on-right changeup, that kick change I mentioned. Leahy's gotten a lot better as the season's gone on too, and he's another one who's benefited from just having a ton of starts. All right, line drive up the middle on an 0-2 to Bohm. Here's another hit from Crawford. That's the Crawford special right there. Little slap to left, so first and second. Now he's going to punch out Schwarber for the second time with a changeup looking. Top shelf changeup. That's crazy. So happy accident there. And then he's going to get Trey out with the slider. A lot of guys have had success this year with Trey just keeping the ball in the outside corner. Leahy wins the race, and he's through 3 scoreless. Fourth inning, here's here's Harper first. Goes for the front door sinker. It's actually a great pitch, but good placement by Harper right down the line is going to lead to a double. Great swing, honestly. It's a pretty good front door sinker here. But Harper catches it so deep, and he's somehow able to slice it down the line but keep it fair. Yeah, Palante has improved a lot as well. I think Heim is a guy, personally. I do. I think he got a raw deal in Boston. I do. All right, curveball to Arise. That's going to score a run. So a couple balls down the line. They trade places with each other, and that's the 1 run for the Phillies. Let's see how he gets his outs to get through this one. Change up here to Stott. Ground ball to short. Mason Wynn, show off the arm again. His arm is just so valuable because you see, like, he's out of position here to field this ground ball. He doesn't have to go backhand or charge it because he knows he has the arm. He just gets in front of it, and then, yeah! What a scud. All right, so man on third, and this is a big at-bat versus Marsh. He's got to dig deep for a strikeout. And it's another looking strikeout on a changeup up. I got to watch this sequence. How does he possibly get these freezes? Is there some takes up in the zone or something? Curveball, foul ball. Yeah, his arm is amazing, Almighty Pedro. Ridiculous.
It's just a matter of where you line them up and what kind of guys you have. Juggling act for Don Mattingly.
I don't think the Mookie thing was his choice necessarily, guys. But anyway, I think Heim's a pretty good talent evaluator. I think he's great. But you know what? The Red Sox are in a great spot right now, so it's hard to argue. So kind of a weird take there, but massive strikeout. And then he's going to end up striking out JT as well. So not a huge whiff guy, but finds a way to dig deep and get him in this inning when he needed. So that's a big attribute right there. And now we're on to the 5th. Bohm's going to get a hit leading it off. So Bohm 2 for 2. Stays inside that sinker. Man on first, nobody out. And here is Crawford. Weatherholt thought about it, but he'll take the out. So man on second. Another 1 pitch out coming here. Here's Schwarber. He doesn't want to strike out again, so he's hacking. JJ makes that play. 2 outs there. And then he's going to finish this out and getting Trey out again to the outside corner. Pops him up, so. Defense didn't really come into play in this one. Honestly, just a lot of good locations, and he was able to dial up some whiffs when he needed. I'm a big fan of Leahy, though. I feel like he's improved a lot. Now, on the other side of things, they were able to get to Wheeler a little bit in this game. In the fourth inning, fifth inning, fifth inning, fifth inning, fifth inning. So here's the Cardinal fifth inning as they were able to get to Wheeler. And Zach hasn't pitched as well since the old am I on the rubber, am I not on the rubber controversy. All right, splitter down, little looper in the into right for Prieto. I know they had one run earlier, but this is the big inning, right? Fermin to right, can of corn for Harper. Another strikeout here, so it's going to be a 2-out rally? Is that what we're looking at? Or is this in the 6th? That was nasty. And then here we go. Weatherholt. Little chopper through the hole. They're still holding on the runner, which is interesting there in that spot. So first and third. And Ivan Herrera gets to a 3-2 count. Fastball, stays through it up the middle. Drives in the run. So a nice little 2-out rally here. And that's going to lead us to Burleson. This is not the guy you want to face when you're scuffling. And he goes ahead and swats a pitch above the zone out into right center. That's going to clear the bases and ruin Wheeler's day. And the Cardinals are going to go on to win this one. So Leahy outdeals Wheeler. This is a hell of a swing by Burleson. I like Burleson a lot. It's interesting that he never got traded either. I know that, man, that bat would have looked good on a lot of contending teams. But I think they really value him, and he's probably cheap. Probably not a guy who's going to have crazy raises, but we'll see. Anyway, big hit there, and then Walker. Goes down and gets the sweeper, able to hit it hard into the corner. Merry-go-round starts, and this is just a tremendous 2-out rally by the Birds. So you got to give them credit. Will they hang in there? Will they hang in there is the question. You look at the standings right now for the Cardinals. First, we'll just go to the wild cards, because I think they're too far back in the division now to really be a factor. But they're 3 out of the wild cards, 61 and 60. They have a -1 run differential, so they're essentially a 500 team in terms of quality. But I don't know. They're going to try to grit their way into staying into this thing. We'll see. We'll see if they can do it. But I do think the Cardinals will be back pretty soon. I mean, I think that they did a lot of good work at the deadline, really the last couple years. Player development seems to be going okay. At some point, they're going to reinvest in their major league team, and then they're going to be a factor, but they're still a ways away. All right, on to something else. That was a good pitch by Wheeler. I'd be upset I gave up 3 earnings on that. It was. That pitch was like at his eyes, you know? That was like at his eyes. It's crazy. Leahy and Liberatore have somehow found a way to strike out batters recently. Most of the year, they've been getting more about getting pop-outs or ground-outs. Cards have been big with 2 outs. Leahy, unfortunately, will be a 5-and-dive guy for the rest of the season. No doubt about it. This is a stupid comment. Liberatore needs to figure out just one of his fastballs. Let's take a quick look at Liberatore and some of the Cardinal starters and how they've been able to do this year. So we already looked at Leahy. Here's Matthew Liberatore. You know, at times you watch him and he feels nasty, and at times you watch him and he feels lost out there. They're hitting 293 on his 4-seam with a 479 slug. And it's even worse on the sinker. 408 on the sinker with a 592 slug. So the fastball's been the biggest issue for Liberatore for sure. And I think it drags down everything else. I always feel like his changeup's pretty good. And his curveball, I know his curveball has got negative run value here, but a 188 average. A little more slug on that than you'd like to see. He's been I mentioned a lot of feast or famine type of outings. Let's see. Let's look at recently. Like, yeah, look at his last 2. Like 6 innings, no runs versus the Jays. And then 5 innings, 9 hits, then very next start. You see a lot of this. There's a 6-0 in here, a 5-1. There's been a bunch of 6-1, stuff like that. And then a bunch of big blow-ups. 1 2/3, 7. 5 1/3, 5. So you can't necessarily rely on him to be consistent, but that's what the Cardinals have done. They've had guys in their rotation all year, and they're just kind of living or dying with it. Here's Palante, who's a really weird pitcher with this movement chart. One of the weirdest fastballs in the league, but it's oddly effective for contact suppression. He's been really good. 3.46 ERA in 23 starts and 12 wins. He's been a big beneficiary of the defense as he's a massive ground ball pitcher, 96th percentile ground balls. We also mentioned McGreevy and his very slow fastball, but really good command. He's averaging 91.8 on his heater this year, and basically Baseball Savant says there's no way he should be this good. But he's got extension, so his ball plays up a little bit. He doesn't beat himself with the walks. He's also benefiting from a really good defense as well. And overall, I mean, 23 starts with a 3.64. So they're finding a way to do it. Is it sustainable forever? Probably not, and that's why I can't pick them to really make the postseason. But they have found a way to kind of, make it work with this group of starters, and they've had good health. And I think a lot of that's led to them kind of being in the mix along with their offensive stuff that they've done. So anyway, enough with the Cardinals. Baseballandcoffee.com. All right, let's go look at some Red Sox next because Payton Tolle pitched great last night. What do you think the Red Sox playoff roster will look like? Seems they have a slight logjam, especially when Meade and Roman come back. It's a good question. So before we even watch, let's head over to the Red Sox roster situation right now. I'll admit I didn't watch any of this last weekend, but you're right. Meade's going to come back. They're going to need a spot for him. They're going to need Roman Anthony's spot as well. I mean, it's probably the obvious stuff. You're probably looking at like a Jahmai Jones or Eli White, one of those two, and maybe a Siegler. Siegler for Story, maybe. And then Meade, I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit of a logjam in the outfield, I will say. Yoshida, Duran, Rafaela, Abreu. Probably forgetting somebody. There's a whole bunch of dudes. So it is going to be a little interesting what they do with their roster when those guys come back. But good problems to have. Good problems to have. There's also Crochet, Houck. I think Crochet and Houck go bullpen. I don't think they have any chance of being in the rotation right now. And then if you look at the bullpen, there's Weissert spot. There's Moran, who's been pretty good. Gamboa. But there's no guarantee that everybody's pitching great headed to the finish line. They'll find room for those guys. I think Crochet could be a dynamic guy, down the stretch. Obviously, we know Whitlock's on the shelf right now, too. It's going to be interesting. But they'll make room for these guys. Good problems to have. Crochet for Sandoval with the starters. I don't think Crochet comes back to starting, but we'll see. All right, so we were going to talk about Payton Tolle. Payton Tolle pitched yesterday. This guy has been way better than I even anticipated and more consistent. I always knew he was nasty, but now he's finding a way to really be good game in and game out. He's at a 2.97 through 20 starts this year, 115 innings, 128 punch, about a 1 whip. And he's pitched really good his last couple games. We watched the 14 strikeout game versus the A's, and now we're going to watch this 8-inning performance yesterday versus the Jays. So let's look at the player breakdown on Payton Tolle. He's also just one of the most fun guys to watch, so why the heck not? Also, congrats to Mad Max. I saw in this game he went over 3,000 innings. That's crazy. It means he got 9,000 outs. 9,000 outs. All right, Payton Tolle, 8 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, only 91 pitches in the 8 innings, which is crazy. Could have maybe threatened a Maddox in this one. 41 heaters, 20 sinkers, 16 curveballs, 12 cutters, and 2 changeups. The curveball was amazing his last start, so I'm curious how that looks in this one. Really weird game for him with whiff, 13% whiff. So is it just pop-up city? This could just be the nature of the matchup. The Blue Jays, they put the ball in play. They're fairly aggressive. So when it goes well, it goes well. He only allowed 2 hard hits. So this is going to be a quick, dominating outing. All right, Red Sox, Jays. Tolle Scherzer, that's just fun. That's just a fun matchup. So since this is a pretty low pitch count, we'll watch all the pitches, even though this is a 4-pitch walk to start off the game. I think Gamboa obviously gets sent down. From what I've watched, he hasn't been great. A lot of pop-ups. It's got to be, right? Well, how else would you have so many quick outs? And obviously this team's very aggressive, but this is going to be a 4-pitch walk, even though that was clearly fully in the box, but looks like Connor didn't want to challenge that. So a 4-pitch walk, and then we move on to Ernie Clement. I don't think he had a K until the 5th inning or something. All right, fastball there. And actually, it's actually pretty encouraging for me to see an outing where he wins without a bunch of whiffs and without a fastball that's just blowing doors all day, because that's been one of my worries with Tolle is that, yeah, it's all great when he's throwing 96 plus and mowing everybody down and striking everybody out, but what does it look like when he doesn't have that? Well, here's a little indication that he can still pitch well without it. So there's the first pop-up. Here's Vlad. Fastball down strike. Another fastball here. That's a really good location, up and in. It's going to drop in. I got to give credit to Monasterio right there for going out and being heads up on this play. Rafaela looks like he probably misjudged this a little bit, or he's playing too deep. So this ends up being a crappy hit, but look at Monasterio keep the runner from getting to third here by getting this ball in right away, as McAdoo wanted to go. But good play there. All right, so 2 on, 1 out. And here's George. 4-seam down. You see that Muncy leads home runs in Dodger Stadium now? Very cool for him. His velo was really down at the beginning of this game. So he pumps it up later in the game. That's a nice cutter back foot to Springer. Here's another one. Chops it foul, and now to the 4-seam. Really good pitch. Totally overwhelms him. Really weak chopper to first. So now he's going to have 2 on and 2 out, and he's going to face Okamoto. And now here comes the velo. 97-4, top of the zone, Bayou, and 97 again, top of the zone pop-up. So he's always got that in his back pocket. 2 perfectly placed pitches. So we were talking about Edwin earlier. Like, there's control and there's command. Control is like, can you throw strikes? Command is like, can you put the ball where you want, when you want to, and when you need to. Payton Tolle is showing some command here. It's not just throwing strikes here. It's where you get the fastball. Top of the zone, up and in. Beautiful execution, weak pop-up, inning over. Nice job. All right, second inning. First inning was a little bit eventful. 4-pitch walk and a bloop hit. All right, here's Jimenez.
He is 70 in that stretch.
What's my golf handicap? Dude, I'm not even keeping score yet. I can't even really hit my driver very well. The irons, I hit them forward. The driver, I'm horrible, so I'm not even keeping score yet. Anyway, another 4-pitch walk to start of the second. This is really weird for a guy who almost threw a Maddox in this game. I know Tolle had big strikeout games, but overall, do you see him as more of a location pitcher going forward? No, I still see him as a stuff pitcher. I do, but he seems to have an ability at times to really command that fastball. And that's going to always level up your stuff, is the command factor on top of it. He doesn't have, like, poor control at all, but there was a time early on where I wondered if he had the feel to pitch without swing and miss. And this is a perfect example of a game where, yeah, maybe he does in the right matchups. This is a fastball up and in that he gets a rollover double play on, though, so that's a little bit weird. Valenzuela just gets beat with that. They go around the horn. Nice turn. 2 outs. Is 2026 the year of the Lance Lynn 3 fastball approach? I think it is. I think it is. Schlittler, Tolle. There's been a number of guys who have gone to this approach pretty heavy. And yeah, I think it is. I think this is the year of the 3 fastball approach. I do. Now, Ashcraft will probably be next. He deserves it. I mean, he did throw a complete game in like 80-something pitches. There's a pop-up on a cutter above barrel. So after the double play, pretty easy second inning. Here's the third inning, and Lucas. What platforms do you stream on? YouTube and TikTok. If you come on over to YouTube, we're working towards 14,000 subs. We just hit 13,000, but YouTube is the main jam, and then TikTok as well. There was a question about my slider grip in here while we're going. Anyway, it was in here somewhere. This is where I'm at right here. Middle finger, middle of this horseshoe. Thumb pinched across the side.
Lucas shoots one into left field for a base hit.
Slider grip. Don't turn the wrist though. Just hold on to it and have the ball on the edge of your finger so it kind of slips out and gets into the right seam shifted location. All right, I missed that hit. So another hit. So 3 consecutive innings. The leadoff hitter's on. Lucas stays flat on that fastball. Very good swing. So leadoff man aboard. 3 fastball approach. Are you referring to 4-seam cut and 2-seam sinker? Yes, I am. A lot of guys going to that approach this year, especially guys who throw hard. Especially their cutter hard to make it really 3 fastball types. Seeing a lot of people doing that. And I just think it's really hard for a batter to make the adjustment of where to aim their barrel when you don't know the amount of lift or run on the fastball, because it's really hard to tell when they're all that fast. All right, here is Ernie. So he got a really nice out there on that first pitch. Sinker up, 0-2, and here comes a curveball. Rolled down. Durbin, backhand. Man, outstanding defense here by the Red Sox. This is another underrated part of why the Red Sox have been able to get back into it. Just like the Cubs, just like some of these other teams, their defense has been so good. Durbin might mess around and win the Gold Glove at third. He'll definitely be a finalist. Anyway, nice double play there, and he is through 3. Here comes the 4th. Vladdy, sinker up and away. 4-seam here. Hard to understand Vlad's season. I don't even think it's a swing plane issue. He's just been oddly inaccurate with his barrel. I mean, this is middle, 94. He should destroy this pitch, but you see the way he kind of like slices down through it, and it's a glancing blow. I think that's been a big issue with Vlad this year. He's just not getting through the ball. He's hitting these glancing, slicing blows, or he's on top of it and pounding it into the ground. So I don't know if, I mean, yes, I just contradicted myself. I said it's not a swing plane issue, but this looks like a swing plane issue. I think it's just timing of accuracy of the barrel. I don't mind you being downhill, but you got to make sure you're aiming at the right part to get through the ball. And right now he's not doing that. And I think his swing gives him a little bit less margin for error in that regard in terms of hitting homers. But we've seen him and Tatis both do this, and now Tatis is all of a sudden a little more grooved. So it's just hard to figure out. He's too smart and too good of a hitter not to get grooved, but he's not grooved at all this season. All right, first pitch to Springer. That ball's actually well hit, but good positioning by Sogard. So a 1 pitch out there. I mean, I know it's hilarious. I mean, like, but I also know how to get hitters out. So I can tell you what I see from my perspective. Because I got a lot of great hitters out. And really, all hitting swing stats are really just pitching stats in disguise. Because they all leave clues about how to get hitters out. So I got you. Also, did you see my double in Old Timers game? Anyway, fly out here. Another fly out. This is the Payton Tolle 4-seam. Nice play. Hey. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. He didn't mean anything. He didn't mean anything. Don't be mean. All right. Who's next? 5th inning, Jimenez. Curveball, strike. The pitcher is the protagonist of baseball. Well, they start the action. You know, that's the biggest thing. We start the action. The hitter has to react to what we do. They don't get to dictate, really. Although the best hitters in the game somehow make it feel like they are dictating. Look at Payton Tolle working his tuchus off to get to first base right here. This might be a funny visual here. Let's see. Just rolling. I love it. All right, next up. 4-seam in ball. Played slow pitch softball with MLB reliever. He hit bombs every time. Well, it's important to remember that before we were all pitcher onlys, a lot of us did hit, and we're usually big guys, so a lot of guys do rake. Not necessarily putting myself in that category, but I played with some pitchers that could absolutely swing it, especially in VP situation. Another pop-up on a fastball up.
The other thing is look at that pitch count. Look at how low that pitch count is for Tolle.
Tolle might have the best personality in baseball. I totally agree. Totally agree. He's just the funniest guy to watch out there. He pitches with so much freedom. I hope he can maintain that his whole career. This game has a way of sucking it out of you at some point. Another pop-up. This time it's on a cutter. Oh, that was Louis Varland getting ready for an eclipse or something. Sinker in. Lucas had a great swing at that 4-seam at the top the last time. So this time he responds with sinker. Here comes curveball. Tolle just feels like a Boston guy with his energy. I agree. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. Although he would have fit on a few places. But I love him on Boston. And the fans love him, which is great. All right, 3-1. Big hack fouled off, and then he's going to get him out. So this time he switches to sinkers against Lucas. Gave up a hit on the 4-seam last time. This time it's sinkers. Misses location there, but it chews him up for the first out of the 6th. Back to McAdoo. 3rd time through. Ooh, curveball dropped in for a strike. Very nice. Best flat white in Brooklyn. Good question, you know, and I can't say I have the perfect knowledge for that. I do like Cafe Devotion, which is kind of all over. But that's one of mine. I also like Kobrick. Kobrick coffee out of Brooklyn as well. Those are probably my favorites right now. Heater in just off, and now a called strike 3 on a sinker. Ooh, this is a good combo. All right. Wow. Great 2-pitch sequence, and Tolle's so proud of himself. He pulls the 4-seam in. Just a hair, right? Just a hair. But the take was there. So they read take, and they say, well, if I start the fastball out of the same line, but this time it's a sinker, it'll check back up to the corner. And that's what he does. Now he goes sinker and watch this ball check back to the corner, and all McAdoo can do is watch it and turn around. And Tolle knows how good that was, and that's why he's so excited. Check out the reaction from Payton Tolle here. He wants to tell Wonger, oh man, we really did it. Look at him. He's so fired up. Like, they saw the pitch that they needed to execute, then they executed it, and he was so happy. Damn, we didn't get enough long of a replay, but anyway, great pitch there. All right, on to Clement. Change up, pulled foul.
Be emphatic. We all know right away.
And another pop-up. Man, he's gotten, what, like 5 pop-ups in foul territory so far? All right, back to Vlad. Strike 1. Here comes a curveball. Oh, it was his first K of the game. That's why he did that. Okay. I didn't even realize that. That's crazy. First K of the game in the 6th inning for a strikeout pitcher. Good swing here by Vlad, but it's not going to have the distance. That pitch was a bit too high, so he flies it out. What do you think of Votto saying there's no such thing as late in MLB hitting? That it's always technique or physical ability that isn't getting the bat to the ball in time. I don't know. I mean, he can have his own opinion. I definitely think guys are obviously late. Like, they just didn't start early enough. Now, maybe the shortcut to getting there is a mechanical thing, and I don't know. He's a hitter. He would know better than me. He's a Hall of Famer. But, I mean, you can tell when a hitter's behind or when something's not letting them get the bat there on time, and to me that means late. I don't know how else I would decipher that. All right, here's the second strikeout. Ooh, another front door sinker? Oh, I'm loving that. He's got both of his strikeouts looking on front door sinkers. I am loving this, Payton Tolle. Great pitch. Hell yeah, dude. All right, next up, Okamoto. Mind you, this is still a 1-0 game. Important game for both teams. Strike. And perfect curveball down. So now he gets the strikeout swinging. Curveball down. This is what we saw a lot of in that game versus the A's. It's really good curveball locations. And Tolle's brilliant through 7. He goes back out for the 8th. At this point, he only had 79 pitches starting the 8th. First pitch strike to Jimenez. Here comes a curveball. How do you feel about the Red Sox lackluster medical staff? You know, to be honest with you, I thought they had the best training staff of any team I was with when I was there. They had the most manpower, the most hands-on approach. What I do think the reality is, though, is that they got very data-driven in terms of their workload stuff, and I think that maybe that steered them wrong with some of their injuries. They basically just bulldozed forward with Crochet, and I think that is what got him. I think it wasn't so much that they weren't giving him great medical attention. I think it's more of the other stuff, like how often they can let a guy out and run, and they've been using a lot of measurables for that, but I think that they don't capture every variable, and I think that's where they've misstepped a little bit. Anyway, it's kind of funny because, again, they've had a horrible year with injuries, but I like their training staff. So, go figure. All right, little backhand here from Val. That was pretty hard, but Monasterio, nice play on Valenzuela. Now he's pitching with a 5-run lead, so just keep pouring in there. I'm surprised they didn't let him go out for the 9th, but they're thinking about postseason probably. Sinker strike. It's not so much the injuries, it's just like they measure everything in terms of like your range of motion, your strength with your, they do so much force plate stuff with the Red Sox, and then based off those readings and what they get from the Hawkeye data during the game, they basically decide how many days you should have off. When to me, there's way more variables to go in. They don't even know what you're doing away from the field or how you feel or this and that, a million different things. But they try to go off of that a lot, and to me, that's only part of the story. But, you know, People who have data, they tend to be very beholden to it, even when they don't have all of the variables, in my opinion. So totally great job there. Finishes the game with the strikeout of Straw. This might have been his best game of the year because he didn't have really the strikeout stuff, but yet he still went 8 shutout against a, not a good team right now, but an annoying team that you would think would beat him. Because the Blue Jays are the type of team that gives a guy like Schlittler problems. So you'd think they would give Tolle some problems. But they didn't. Weissert ends up finishing it out. I know he briefly went down to the minor leagues. I want to see the last pitch of the game. It's a right-on-right changeup to Vlad. We've talked about how Weissert's arm slot's a lot lower now, too. But he's nasty. He's just sort of, he's been there a while. Red Sox fans, I don't know if they like him or don't like him at this point, but he's not high on the totem pole anymore. All right, back to the chat. Adam, do you think Garrett Crochet is going to play a part of the Sox bullpen? Yes, I do. I want to watch this in a minute before I have my opinion on the South Stewart thing. Would you like Tolle's cutter to be a little higher in velocity? It's kind of weird. It's been very effective, and he also uses it kind of as a hybrid. Sometimes it's a slider for chase, sometimes it's a cutter. So I think it's fine where it is. I wouldn't change anything yet, but generally I do like my cutters harder. You know that. Was Anthony the trainer when you were there? Yep. One of the better ones. It's also possible that a hitter has to tell themselves they can never be late to have the confidence to stand in against 100. I would love to talk to Joey more. I mean, we'll get him on this show and we'll pick his brain because he's sort of the yin to my yang, the pitching hitting confrontation, and he has so much experience in that box that all of it's super valuable. I'd love to hear a little bit more about this not late situation, but I don't know. As a pitcher, I'm always evaluating timing. So, there's always multiple ways to look at the game or to understand the game, and he's got knowledge that I could learn from. I'd love to learn more about that. What can cause a fastball swing like that? Is it just gearing up for the fastball and can't change his decision? Generally, when you have to gear up for a fastball or you have to start early for a fastball, it can throw off your timing with another pitch. Who was your favorite batter to face, even for just the battles? It's a good question. I mean, Javi Baez, we always had a good back and forth. I thought it was fun. Hunter Pence, even though he kind of owned me, I just love the fact that he was coming for blood. Thought that was fun for a battle. And I don't know. I always like to face the best guys. Just it's nice if there's nobody on and 2 outs, Davis Martin has been atrocious. Lately, he has. I agree. Yeah, Manny can set up pitchers. Manny was like a really good at hitting a bad breaking ball. So a lot of times he would take the first one, encourage you to throw another one, and then smash it. Pretty amazing, right? Do you think closer is one of the hardest mental positions? Yes. And let me say a little thing about the difficulty of dealing with failure in baseball. They're different as a hitter and a pitcher. And they're even different as a starter and as a reliever. See, to me, as a position player, there's so much micro failure. Like even in a good game, you go 2 for 4, you fail twice, right? At the plate. Maybe you made an error in the field or you messed something up. So you have micro failure. Like even in good games, you're always experiencing failure and it's just kind of chipping away, but it's there. It's omnipresent. The thing with pitching is you're supposed to do well, especially in the bullpen. You're supposed to succeed all the time. So when you fail, especially as a reliever, it's catastrophic failure. Right? So it's like you're just rolling along, I'm doing good, and then catastrophic failure hits you. So there's a lot of pain involved in that, plus you let the team down, especially if you're a late inning guy like Edwin's in right now. You lose, the team loses. It's tough. As a starter, it's the same because you have to sit on it for 5 days, but it's a little different because you didn't have like the dramatic like, oh, I blew the game for the boys in the 9th inning feeling. But again, it's way different, that micro failure for a hitter versus the, oh, everything's going good for a pitcher, hit with a ton of bricks type of failure. So I think it's tough as a relief pitcher to kind of not lose your confidence, but that's the job, and that's why you get paid the money. So Edwin gets paid the money. He should be able to figure it out. But yeah, it's easier said than done. Would you rather pitch with a big lead or pitch in a close game? I mean, perfect ideal situation is like a 2-run lead. It's tight enough to keep me sharp, but I have a little bit of margin for error there. And me personally, pitching in close games brought the best out of me. And that's why I like relief pitching, but it's different for everybody. Of course, as a starter, you'd rather have a big lead, you know, but it doesn't always work that way. During a bad run as a reliever, do you have to fight the little voice that's like, you lost it, it's over, you always knew it would happen, and it happened? Man, that's dark. That's a dark thought, but I've been in this spot before. Good question. Where, like, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're almost like, I know I'm going to let this happen, but it's like you're like a bystander to your own life and you can't stop it because you know you're out of whack. I've been in that spot before. That's a terrible place to be. But this is also why I think focus is the most important thing. As a baseball player, as you go on, like your skills are there, you know what to do. Your physical ability either is or isn't, but it really comes down to how well you can lock in and concentrate in the moment to give yourself your best outcome. Nothing worse though when you're out there playing and you can't focus and you know you're going to lose the game and you're trying to dig deep, but you can't. You got nothing to dig on. That's a tough situation. So it's tough, man. Yeah, we already did the Edwin panic session. Clean inning or fireman? I was better with fireman. Personally, I came in and with guys on base, I was like, well, it's time to go. All right, let's watch Braxton Ashcraft, the ace of the Pirates. It's a little tongue-in-cheek there, but he's had a great year. Although he did pull back recently until this last start. And I do see you, Sticks. We're going Ashcraft right now. 12-5, 3.88 for the sinking Pirates right now. 24 starts. He's at 141 1/3. I think this guy's breaking stuff is really nasty, and he's got plenty of velo. So we've watched him actually quite a bit. Let's look at the game logs, because this game, I think, was a little bit of a turnaround for him. Yeah, he had a 5 Ernie, 7 Ernie, 4 Ernie, and then he had like a shortened start versus the Reds that went pretty well before a 4 Ernie versus the Brewers. So he needed a big start, and this was the one that he came up with. 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts versus the Fish yesterday. Player breakdown on Braxton Ashcraft. Wow. 27 sinkers. Sinkers led the way. 22 curveballs, 21 four-seamers, 15 sliders. Somehow only threw 85 pitches in an entire game. So you're not going to have a lot of whiff. It's actually amazing he has 27% whiff. 66% first pitch strike. That's good, but I would have thought it would have been even higher. He gave up 10 hard hits, so there's probably some batted ball luck in here, but let's check it out. 85 pitches in 9 innings is absurd. All right, the Fish, Miami Marlins versus the Pittsburgh Piratas. Braxton Ashcraft, 85 pitches, 10 strikeout complete game. This is hard to do, guys. Let's watch it. Ashcraft was so close to the complete game shutout. We already watched Edwin earlier. He's just not commanding things very well. The stuff is definitely a tick down. Do I think he's done for the year? No. Do I think the panic is fair? Yeah, probably. Do I think this is a tough moment mentally for Edwin? Hell yeah, and he's got to figure it out. But if you go back to my YouTube channel, you can watch all of the stuff. I'll have it all chaptered out for you as soon as this ends. Also, while we're watching this, little quick reminder, episode 3 of Side Quest, which is Old Timers Day, is going to drop at noon today. So that's in, 47 minutes. And I think this is the best video I've put out yet. So looking forward to people liking that. Wow, look at Ashcraft come back from 3-0 to then drop this 3-2 banger on Jacob Marcy, my Italian friend, for the first out of the game. That was nasty. Braxton Ashcraft has got to be a top 5 current baseball name. It's a good name, but do you think it's like top 5? I don't know. It's pretty good.
It's a quick challenge. I think you got him.
Is the YouTube channel called your name? It's Adam Ottavino 0. There's also, if you're in TikTok, go to my bio, and it's right there. There's a link to the page right there if you want to come through.
Don't get that right, you're losing it.
All right, so another 3-ball count. He had 3-ball counts to the first 2 batters of the game, and yet he's going to throw an 85-pitch complete game? How did he do this? How did he do this? I don't know, but there's a walk. Do you like whiff percentage better than called strike whiff percentage? No, I like CSW percentage better because I value called strikes a lot. But I think you have to look at them separately. Raw whiff percentage is like a very important indicator for how much margin for error the pitcher has over the plate when they do swing. The called strike kind of adds in that ability to go ball to strike and get freezes and stuff. So I look at both, but I look at both. Overall, I'd rather CSW as a overall number, but I look at both. Anyway, he gets a double play here on a sinker to Otto Lopez. This is well located. This is what you're looking for. That's the spot I tried to go to with a man on first and a righty up all the time with my sinker. You get that chopper to third, you get the double play. All right, second inning.
That looks good. Have you ever had it? I have not had it.
I haven't had.
Perfect. I'm at work, so really just listening while working. Appreciate you.
But you know, AJ Ramos has to be here.
Otto Lopez is a free ground out double play every time. I think if you locate like that, maybe. But Otto Lopez is hitting over 300. He's been pretty good. All right, Griffin Conine, that's 99 up in the zone. So Ashcraft not suffering from a velo drop, still pumping cheddar cheese here in mid-August. Doors up top. This is also, by the way, such a good place to pitch. Miami. I love pitching in this ballpark. Love it. My shit felt disgusting, like that sinker right there. Nasty. And it just feels like you can kind of do whatever you want out there sometimes. That was another really good sinker. Backdoor, roll order Triolo at 99. This pitch had so much run on it. 18 inches, look at this. That was dirty.
Took him in the second round by perfect game out of high school. He was a
Oto?
And sport
Oto?
School, he was a ridiculously good
I saw a question here that was kind of funny. Be honest, did you feel untouchable in your prime? There were stretches. Yes, I'll be honest. 2015, beginning of the season, before my Tommy John, absolutely. Those 10 games, I felt like if I give up a run, it's because I messed up. And then I would say the first half of 2018 as well. I was really rolling in those two stretches. But other than that, you're always, like, you're confident, but you're always paranoid. You know what can happen. And untouchable, a little tough. So here's that dotted backdoor 98. We'll watch it again. This is just a nasty pitch. When you can do that, you're not going to give up runs. All right, third inning.
Pick up by the White Sox. He needed a change of scenery. They were able to move him to another contender.
What is main difference working at smaller club like Rockies versus big club as Yankees, Mets, Reds? Like just attention overall of the fans and you know, that sort of thing. Like how much the games feel significant, I would say. But also, you know, the way that they support the players generally, like in the off the field stuff, the quality of the hotels, the quality of the planes, the quality of the family stuff, the quality of the food. All that stuff seems to be better at the big markets, although that's not universal. All right, E6 right there.
Power curve. I mean, that used to be called a slider.
Ooh, a little bunt, but that's going to be foul.
Triolo still continues to play behind third.
How important is having confidence in your catcher? Very important. Truthfully, though, almost every catcher in the big leagues is worth having confidence in when you're a pitcher, so it doesn't show up that often. But yeah, it's super important. You guys need to be simpatico, you know? Ooh, is this going to be another double play? Sure is. No, he's safe. Runs it out. Ruiz is fast. All right, but it's fine. They get a one pitch out to Marcy next. Caught stealing. That's an absolute dot. Is that ND back there on this throw? Oh, no, this is Flores maybe? That's a dot. Nice throw. So that gets him out of the third inning, I believe, and now we're on to the fourth. Marcy, sinker away. That's going to be overturned to a strike, and then curveball. How early in your outings could you tell you didn't have your best stuff and needed to pivot? It's tougher as a reliever because you don't have a lot of time, but pretty quick. Anyway, here's a hit from Marcy on a curveball. He punched out on a curveball that first time. This one's a little more in the zone. Flicks it into the outfield. Here comes Edwards. And he's hurt right now. Damn, that's crazy. I just saw him play a minute ago. When did he get hurt?
Don't want to be Slytherin, is that right?
No, every evil witch and wizard was in Slytherin.
Are you noticing Ashcraft starting a lot of lefties with that breaking ball? Yeah, he's getting a lot of free strikes with it, Brad. 100%. Weird pitch here. 0-2 sinker down. I think he wanted to go front door. Look at the target. Yeah, he wanted to go front door. This ends up being a bad pitch, but it works out because Edwards is in protect mode. And it's a double play. Nice play.
It helps when you're getting ahead.
How do you feel about your numbers against the machine, Albert Pujols being 0 for 4 with 2 walks. So this sounds stupid, but I was a pretty good matchup against Albert, if that makes sense. It's also a really small sample, and he was definitely not in his prime when I faced him. But I always felt pretty good about my chances against Albert because, like, the sweeper tended to play pretty well to the outer corner. And, you know, I just could tell he was a little uncomfortable against me. Here's 98 up for Doors City. Ashcraft's got tremendous velo. Bayou Otto Lopez. So a double play for Otto Lopez and a strikeout. All right, we are still rolling here. Can you feel it warming up? So here's my thing about warming up. I don't ever pay attention to how sharp I am warming up because it's usually a false sense of comfort if you are. Much better to not really care and just get warm and then, you know, work on your pitches a little bit, but don't put too much stock in them because you want to have maximum confidence no matter how you look in the bullpen when you run in. And then just let it eat when you get in there and then roll from there. So even if I didn't have it in the bullpen, I wouldn't eliminate it from my thought process before actually getting in the game. This is going to be another double play. Holy cow. He's had a lot of success with the first pitch or second pitch sinker right on right in double play spots. He's just beating the ground, and a nice play by the Pirates. Also, he's not fast, so that works out. 2 outs. But yeah, I wouldn't let it get in my head, but yeah, sometimes like you throw a couple pitches and you're like, that's not coming out right. Your first couple in the game, and you just get out of there, you know? Do you think Payton Tolle is climbing into the Cy Young race? You know, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's still probably pretty far behind Cease and Schlittler, but I guess we could take a look. Here's a backdoor 4-seam paint. This is a mistake. He meant to go up, but it's a happy mistake. So, pretty dirty there. And now we're on to the 6th, right? Here's Owen Casey. Were you teammates with Albert in St. Louis? Yeah, I mean, I only played 5 games for the Cardinals, but he played first base during my debut. I faced him a lot in, like, spring training, live BP, and stuff like that. Always been super nice to me and just a legend of the game, and I always listened to everything that he had to say. Here's a backdoor slider accident. Try to go back foot. So he's got 2 straight freezes on accidents. And it's just a tough day for the Marlins, it looks like, at the moment. All right, 1 pitch out here to Sanoa. What was my most reliable pitch? Certainly my sweeper. Certainly my sweeper. First pitch out there on a sweeper, I think, and then sinker, first pitch out here. So Marlins doing him a lot of favors. 2 outs, nobody on, need base runners, and they get 2 outs on 2 pitches to end the 6th. This is why he was able to do it with so few pitches. 7th inning, 2 pitch out. Did you see the Tigers' no strikeout shutout? That happened? That's amazing. All right, roll over there. Back to Edwards again. Do you think moving a starter to the bullpen can decrease overthinking with pitching? Yes, definitely. You're in there more often. You go right to your best shit. You let it eat You don't overthink it because you don't have to face that batter multiple times. 100%. I actually think it's good for any starting pitcher if they need to go spend a little time in the bullpen. It will straighten them out. It will make them work more. It will attack better. All right, little line out there from Edwards to center, and here's Lopez again. He's got a double play and a strikeout under his belt, and now a knee buckle. Is hitting .313 though this year, just not having a good game here. Kind of blocks off that high slider, flies it out to right. And that's it for the 7th. Another easy peasy inning. Is your dad an umpire in New York City? Absolutely. Yes, he is. When did your teammates, coaches stop calling it a slider and start calling it a sweeper? So it's funny, like even back in like 2014, I was throwing multiple sliders. I had like a slurve, a downer we would call it, or the slammer, and then the sweeper. We would call it the sweeper at that point, but everything was just labeled as a slider. And just in general, people would always refer to it as a sweeping slider or whatever, and then when they started switching up the classifications, that's when it became mainstream. All right, sinker down ball.
He's got a younger brother.
Or Scrabble.
Do you think the Rays throwing the most changeups in the majors is a good sign of why they're the best?
I don't know, but it's definitely a symptom. Because to me, changeup is probably, changeup and split, probably one of the best pitches for not being a big deal whether you're facing a same-sided hitter or opposite-sided hitter.
It's also a really hard pitch to practice hitting. I've talked about this a lot. Nobody goes in the cage and practices hitting changeups. All right, curveball down here, banger to Ramirez, swings over the top. 2 outs in the 8th. Man, pitches by inning, that was crazy. Because this is going to be another 2-pitch out. Let me see those pitches by inning. 13, 11, 10, 9, 8, 6, 6, 8. Take some pitches, Marlins. But I guess it was too late at this point. They were down 8-0, and they just wanted to get to dinner. All right, 1-0 to Jimenez. Chopped right to third. Easy play. And that's it for the 8th. And then easy to let him out for the 9th when he starts the 9th with 73 pitches. That's insane. You just don't see it. So he's going to give up the 1 run here, huh? Owen Casey, however you say that, clips him on a fastball. How hard he hit that? 103? 103 too. Nice. The big red. Homers, kind of a meaningless home run, but it does take away the Maddox and the shutout from Ashcraft, which kind of sucks. So nice swing there. Hey, yo, do you think it could have been a successful start in the MLB instead of reliever? In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. I think I could have been durable. I think I could have figured out the pitching side of it. I think ultimately the stolen base side of it would have been the hardest problem for me to solve. If I could have solved that, then yes. I think I was good enough to do it, but also had some glaring weaknesses and maybe mentally just better suited for relief pitching. But I always wanted to be a starter. I never grew up dreaming to be a relief pitcher, to be honest with you.
2011 in Houston. Sensational today. He was high
good shout out for my pops right here. Appreciate that.
For a guy that struggled with durability in the
innings have been under 11.
Yeah, I could watch Cavalli today. There's a little nice backdoor sinker for the 2nd out of the 9th. He's done this a few times. He's had excellent command and stuff. Still pumping 96 here in the 9th. And then here's the last batter of the game as he goes CG Shuddy. Well, not Shuddy, 1 run. Who's George Klassen? Do I need to learn about this guy? How much did Stat Guys, Computer Geeks hurt you or help you through your career? A lot of good, some bad. But at the end of the day, I went out there and I take full responsibility for everything I did, even if some stuff was advised to me that ended up being a failure. I listened to it. So Ashcraft just has pretty much an easy breezy game. I mean, you saw all the single-digit pitch innings there. And the Marlins, who have been a weird team this year to figure out, pretty lame offensive performance there, but they got blown out in this game. So great job by Ashcraft. He's been good. We went over it. 85 pitch CG, so we had to watch it. That was pretty impressive, though. That was pretty damn impressive. That was really good. He's been very, very good. Yeah, Cavalli, we should watch him. He had the 10 punchies. We already watched Tolle, so we'll complete all of these guys. Then there's Gilbert. And then I've got to watch a little bit of that Field of Dreams game still. Got about half an hour, but let me get into the chat for a minute. Do you think dudes will ever do 2 changeups? Some guys do this. Tyler Clippard was a guy who did this. I've seen a number of other guys do this. I think you'll see it. More of a ride changeup and then a really droppy split. I think you'll see more of that. I agree. How do you feel about Curt Schilling saying that a sinker 2-seam cutter should be called fastballs only? He said a sweeper is just a shitty curveball. I don't know. He lost his shit a long time ago, so we don't listen to him. We don't listen to him at all. I mean, great pitcher. Should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. But Curt Schilling at this point, I'm good on that. Angels prospect of some acclaim, Klassen. Let me just see real quick. Let me go to the Angels prospect list. Now, the Angels totally gutted everything. We think we talked about on the last, I mean, look, all the player moves they made, but then also, like, they fired all the pitching coaches. And, like, Mosaic is really cleaning house there in many fashions. Hold on. Players, prospect rankings, top 30 by team, Angels. George Klassen just got to the MLB. I would like to watch him because we're getting asked about him. 24 years old, 2002, 6th rounder by the Phillies, 70 grade fastball, excuse me. 55 curveball, 55 slider, 40 changeup, 45 control, 45 overall. Klassen had Tommy John, 21, Barely pitched at University of Minnesota. He's a Golden Gopher. Wow. He was traded there in the Carlos Estevez deal. His stuff is just about ready to be tested at the big league level. Averages 97, flirts with triple digits, two breaking pitches, hard slider, and a 86, 87 power curve. I love 2 breaking pitches. What were his stats? He's only pitched in 4 games so far for the Angels. In AAA, he was starting. He had a 3.96 in the PCL. That's impressive. 91 innings, 88 strikeouts. That's not impressive, but it's still PCL. 46 walks. That's too many walks. So it looks like he might be a little wild, but has some electric stuff. This shows you how little I've paid attention to the Angels lately. He's averaging 96.4 with 15 and 12. That doesn't seem like a special fastball to me. Slider is a bullet. There's the curve. He's also got a changeup. Game logs. A lot of walks. 5 walks in his first game, 5 walks in his second game, 4 walks in his third game, and then this last game was a good game versus the Rangers. I know I'm sidetracking here a little bit. Let's at least watch his strikeouts so I can get a sense of his stuff. So Angels, Rangers, and then we'll move on. I'm not going to watch this whole start, but Angels, Rangers. Shit, I said the 12th, right? Klassen. All right, let's watch his first inning, every pitch, and then I'll just watch his strikeouts. So 95.7. Interesting little delivery here. Man, weird head thing that he does, huh? Check out the head. It's like the head's part of it. So pretty easy going delivery here. He throws fairly hard. Here's Nimmo. This is Chad Klassen's brother, according to ECU Pirates. Fastball, middle. I'm not seeing anything spectacular with the shape of his fastball, albeit he got a 70 grade, so 70 grade, something's going on. Fastball down into Seager. That's almost a homer. Off the wall. And then let's watch his strikeout pitches. Here's the slider. Ooh, now that looked good. That slider looked nasty. That's a 0-0 ball, which is very good as a gyro. And it's 90, and it looked like it tunneled well off the heater. That was filthy. All right, let's find some more strikeout pitches. Well, first let's watch this home run he gave up to Seager. Slider. Little hanger middle in. Clipped him there. All right, strikeouts. Kelnick on a changeup. Okay, that looked pretty good. Nicky Lopez on a fastball. Okay, above the zone. Duran on a slider. He's definitely got one of those high release, like droppy looking sliders despite a lack of vert. I don't know. We'll watch him more. He's had some command issues. The delivery's a little odd, but we'll move on from him. What's the key to getting good movement on a changeup? The seam orientation and the amount of spin. Less spin, more drop, better seam orientation, better movement. That would be the answer to that. All right, so where are we at in time? We got about half an hour left. We have to watch Cavalli. Somebody wanted me to watch, I haven't watched Hagen Smith yet, except we watched him in the minors earlier. Soriano is another one. So Cavalli, Soriano, Gilbert. Also, some guys raked a little bit, right? What were my coffee cup hitters? Oh, yeah, Durbin. Oh, yeah, Schwarber. So, all right, we'll do Field of Dreams game last. We'll try to run through these pitchers right now. Let's do Cavalli right now. Now, Cavalli's been sneaky really, really good this year. For the Nats, they've had a horrible year pitching, but not Cade Cavalli. 3.36 and 26 starts, and he's got, I think, the most starts in the league, 3 runs or less, believe it or not. 151 Ks and 136 and 2/3. 1.24 whip, 10 and 5. Adam, I watched your hidden no-hitter video, and your slam ball was my favorite pitch. How'd you throw that? The slammer, I mean, this was a love-hate relationship with my whole career. When I got my arm angle high enough, I could execute the slammer. But basically how I was throwing it in the video right there in that stretch was actually just a four-seam grip that I would put my fingers together. So start four-seam, fingers together, slight turn of the ball, right? That's it. So I'm just like right here over the ball, four-seam. And then the idea is to get over the ball and gyro it going downhill. But because my arm angle was low, 25 degree, I had a hard time getting on top of the ball consistently. So in the hit and no-hitter, you see me throw some bangers in there, but they're not consistent. So anyway, not great. All right, not sure about the Nate and DeGrom stuff yet. We'll get more information at some point. Anyway, here's Cavalli. He's been good. I've mentioned he's had a really good run of some dominant starts this year. Tons of games with 3 runs or less. And in fact, if you look at the whole season, he's only got 2 starts more than 3 runs. This one way back against the Pirates on April 13th, 4-run game, and he had a 4-run game against the Diamondbacks on June 7th. Other than that, 3 runs or less in every start, so incredibly consistent. He went 8 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 10 punchies in this game yesterday versus the Cubs, whose offense has been good. Bregman's been hot. Things have been happening. Gausman got lit up. Still like Gausman for them, but has not pitched well yet. Anyway, player breakdown on Cade. 32 curves, 24 sweepers, 23 heaters, 9 cutters, 8 changeups, 7 sinkers. I think his curveball is one of the best pitches out there, his knuckle curve, and that's why he throws it so much. But his sweeper was really good in this game too, 56% strikes. Only 50% first pitch strikes, so he did a lot of work after that. What's his chase for the game? Wow, interesting. Only 24% chase, and yet he shoved. So let's check it out. Cubs and Nets. Cavalli, 8 innings, 10 punchies. Let's watch it. Bregman +1 hit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, join the Discord. We're trying to work now towards 14K subs. That's the next stop. But I'm really appreciating the support. We're really growing as we head towards the postseason. The postseason is going to be really good on this channel as we can get very granular with the matchups. All right, 98 down. PCA's under that somehow. Pops it up for the first out of the game, and that's going to bring up Seiya. We got to get a bot for this, and maybe I'll work on that later today, but it's a private app, the Dugout app.
Suzuki's last 20 ball games, now up to 70 on the year. Cavalli ahead of him 0-2.
I remember watching you throw for the Mets. What do you remember about that point in your career? Well, 2022 was a great year for me, probably my 2nd or 3rd best season ever. Ooh, there's that sweeper, which has become a bigger part of the equation for him lately, and he's got a ton of movement with the velo he throws it at. That's Cade Cavalli's superpower. You want to know what it is? Really hard breaking balls that still move a lot. They're outliers. His curveball and his sweeper. There's that curveball. It's 89, and it's a banger, so it's like a super death ball. I love being a Met overall. Love my time with the Mets. Had a blast with the Mets. 22 was my best year with the Mets, but 24 was obviously magical in other ways. I don't know. Just felt like I just love being there. Love doing it. Had a great year that year. Got in a groove, especially in the second half. All right, ground out there. And here is the red-hot Bregman. Sinker coming here. Will the Yankees struggle scoring runs against Bieber tonight? I mean, that could go either way. Stuff-wise, it's not going to wow you right now, but Yankees tend to have some games with some really bad at-bats. All right, so ground out there. Here's Hap. We were stacked, honestly. You look at that roster, that's a very strong roster. Just look at the starting rotation in 2022. Scherzer, DeGrom, I mean, Big Drip when he was out there, McGill, Bassett, Taiwan was great, Cookie was great. Just everybody pitched great that year out of the rotation. That really set us up nicely in the bullpen. And look at our bullpen. Lugo, May, myself, Edwin. Just a really, really dominant crew. Drew Smith was really good that year. That's a disgusting breaking ball. Cavalli's breaking balls are filthy, man. Gavin Williams is another one that we watch a lot, and he's actually been coming on super strong. I think I saw he just had a stretch, 5 starts with like 55 strikeouts, 3 walks. Gavin Williams, but Cavalli's breaking balls are, I think, just as good as Gavin Williams. That's saying a lot. So easy second inning, on to the 3rd. Seabass, so underrated that year. What a beast. What a beast. Yep, McGill was great that year too. We were really good. Did you guys laugh a little when Scherzer was doing his Mad Max routine on game day? I think we laughed a little bit every day at Max, but also nothing but respect for him and amazing to watch him, you know. All right, 1-2. Here comes 98 Doors up and away to Dansby. So he's got velo, crazy breaking pitches, pitches with a little bit of an anger to him. We all know he had the controversy earlier in the year with Contreras. But there's no two ways about it. He's nasty. Is this just straight off of the face of the umpire? What happened here?
Seasons with the Giants, last year with the Dodgers.
Is that full whiff? Full whiff right off the face of the ump? Oh my God. Is this a cross-up or a foul tip or what? Life comes at you fast. It says it's a foul tip, but this is unbelievable. Just rips the face mask right off. Let's see if we can get a better view of it. No, this is worse. Anyway, that was crazy. So that's 0-2, and then a called strike on the curve. Backdoor, freeze, see ya. Who's next? Dude, he wore that so hard. Sweeper strike. Man, you could see Cavalli's feeling it. What are your thoughts on Scherzer actually not pitching terrible in his last 3 starts? It's all health with him. I mean, we all know Max knows how to pitch, but he's just had so many things, whether it's the thumb or the back or the hip or the oblique or whatever. And I think that's the age catching up with him. But when Max is healthy, he's going to give you at least a competitive outing most of the time, if his stuff's there and everything, which has been also a little bit of a struggle. But it's hard to go against Max. He's so competitive and has so much ability to execute. All right, here's another out. 98 kind of gets in a little bit on Amaya, and that's a beautiful 3 innings for Cavalli. On to the 4th. Yeah, 2.37 ERA since returning from injury in July. That's big if the Blue Jays want to still, you know, try to sneak in there this year. They're going to need Mad Max.
And Kevin Gossman.
Thoughts on the Mariners rotation with Cade Anderson? It's not the best in baseball anymore. It's been passed, I think, but it's still in the top 5 for me. And I think Cade Anderson is great, and he's looked amazing this year, and I'm definitely excited to watch him get called up. Just wondering when exactly that's coming. Curveball, PCA, that was in the middle, yanked foul, try to get it below zone. Instead, he's going to go backdoor. Oh, Buckles PCA on a pitch right there. Probably a good pitch to hit, so he thought he wasn't coming back with the curveball. And he was hunting something else, and he ends up getting buckled. This is nasty. Yeesh, PCA got buckled on this. Nice pitch.
Suzuki with 1 out. So for those who didn't see
2018, ERA was better at home than away. Why do so many pitchers struggle at Coors? Why the Rockies never lock in and add elite pitching and help them have success? Well, they can't really afford the elite pitching. They'd have to overpay for it horribly because every pitcher knows what happens when you go to Coors. Your job gets a lot harder. So they have to develop it. And it's hard. It's easier said than done. The 2 best teams I was a part of with the Rockies, 17 and 18, the engine to that was the young pitchers that they had developed. You know, Freeland, Marquez, Senzatella, John Gray, Tyler Anderson, Chad Bettis. All those guys are homegrown. And you know, Freeland, I think I mentioned him. Without that group, we don't go anywhere because you're not going to be able to pay for starting pitching. Now, you can pay for relief pitching, but you're not going to be able to pay for starting pitching. So you got to develop it or trade for it. And that's one of the difficulties that the Rockies face is they can't pay for the elite guys in the area that they need the most. So I hope that answers your question. Why do so many pitchers struggle at Coors? Oh, this is like a sarcastic thing. All right, little pop-up on a changeup in foul territory. He's through 4. We're on to the 5th.
LSU Tiger. RBI double off Kevin Gossman. And the Nationals have a 1-run lead here to the 5th. 9 runs scored in the 1st inning this season. I feel like the Rockies won't ever be truly competitive franchise to leave Colorado. You know, I actually don't agree with that. I think that they can get there. I do. I think you can get there, but they're going to have to become a player development machine, especially on the pitching side, to make it happen.
But I think they can get there. I mean, they've had some good teams in their history. That 07 through 09 run was a really strong team. 17, 18, like it's not impossible. We were legitimately one of the best teams in the National League in 17, 18. We didn't win the division, but we were right there. We played 163 against the Dodgers. And I thought if we could have hosted a series at Coors, that might have... we could have maybe won a series at Coors, but that wasn't the case. Anyway, there's a high sweeper called strike 3 to Bregman. Good take. Unfortunately, that's in there. Here's Ian Happ.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Sucks Dolander got hurt. Dude is making real strides this year. Totally agree.
That's quick.
I feel like Rocky should bail and spin because it doesn't work. Gyro spin works at elevation. And obviously I proved a little bit that sweepers can play at elevation. You don't want to take pitches away from pitchers at Coors. You want to add more pitchers so that there's more diversity and you can win through a different way. But look, change up, great pitch at Coors if you can execute it and it's not too reliant on movement because you're not going to get seam shifted movement. Splitters have been really good at Coors with their low spin. Just look at Jorge De La Rosa and some others. So you got to have a little bit of art. There's not a direct science way to beat Coors. There's a little bit of art in there. All right, little fly out there. So Cavalli, no hit through 5 versus this Cubbies offense. Here he is facing Dansby. What a great season for Sugano for the Rockies. I can't believe it. I thought he'd have an 80 ERA all hits, but he's been all right. He's been decent. Would an indoor stadium help in Colorado? No, don't think so. You can't pressurize it, so no. How does a knuckleball play in Coors? Probably move a little less, but it might be okay. Definitely drop a lot. So kind of play like a split maybe, like a knuckle split thing. Anyway, leadoff walk there to Dansby. Here is Conforto. I don't agree. Rockies have to use Coors advantages. Need to find the formula of the lineup and pitcher. It's just, again, there's not science with the formula of the pitchers. I think it's like you have to really know how to play the game pitch to outperform Coors much more than anything else.
There he goes. 98 right in there to make it 3-1. Ground ball right side. Ortiz to second. Abrams the return.
Ooh, double play. Let me watch this again. 3-1 knuckle curve, which is an interesting choice. Just shows you that his strike pitch is not necessarily his fastball. Great job covering, though. 3-6-1 double play. So one thing that we've seen in all these games where these guys have shoved, Tolle, Ashcraft, and Cavalli, getting a lot of help from double play balls. And now he's just going into his rip breaking ball moment right here. All I'm seeing is breaking ball, and an occasional heater. Like, he might go heater now. So he's fully pitching backwards here this time through the lineup, and it's working. Just buy you, Amaya. You're not even close to that. All right, 7th inning, back to PCA. Sweeper down ball. They've developed some great players, but you got to be better than everybody else there. And I know that's a big ask, but you got to be better than everybody else there. You really do, because you're so reliant on your farm system. This is crazy. He hits PCA with a sweeper and he swings. That's when you know your sweeper is good, when you're hitting it, basically the league's MVP with a pitch and he swung at it. The PCA's got a great reaction. All right, changeup coming here. Yeah, I kind of want to watch a little bit of the Field of Dreams game. I'm with you.
2-2 to PCA, fouled off.
I mean, they do the humidor, but, you know, it is kind of what it is. I don't think the Rockies can consistently win, but I think they can get in a window where they're a really good team for a 3 or 4 year period. That's what I believe, but we'll see. Ooh, nasty sweeper to punch out PCA in zone. So the sweeper's been filthy. The curveball's been filthy. He's throwing 98, 99 at times. Cavalli's really good. He'll be an interesting guy to keep track of over the next couple of years. Because, like, he's not getting a lot of love, but he's putting together a really consistent season this year. I mean, only 2 starts over 3 earnings. That's crazy. This is another good point about the Coors Field hangover effect. It's really hard when you go from sea level back to home, sea level back to home. This actually affects the hitters more than people realize. When they get first out on sea level, they can't hit anything. Everybody looks nasty. And then also at home, even though they feel good, the fatigue factor at Coors is real. And so their bodies kind of break down at a faster rate. So there's so many challenges with the Rockies, but that being said, I'm still a believer that there could be hope. It's just not right now. All right, so that's 2 outs. Here is Michael Busch. Are there any elite pitchers of away teams who struggled at Coors nowadays? Most of them. I mean, you know, Kershaw had an ERA close to 5, I believe, at Coors. All the great Giants pitchers those years. I mean, occasionally you'll see a guy come in and shove, but overall, almost every pitcher has worse numbers at Coors. Not every, but almost. All right, change up down to Michael Busch.
Another 2-strike pitch to Busch. Out to shallow left. Long run for line.
It's a little bleeder into left. When is James Wood going to come back? I just miss watching him play. All right, cutter here to Bregman. So this is one of my things with Bregman and Mookie Betts and Nolan Arenado and many other guys we've talked about. If you look at Bregman's career, there's very few opposite field home runs. So even though this is a great swing, like if Aaron Judge took this swing, it's a home run all day because this is like 106 off the bat. But that's basically as good as he can hit the ball the other way, about 99 at 32. And if it doesn't hit it to the right dimension, it's not going to be a home run, so it's an out. So that's why he has to pull everything. That's why we talk about that a lot when we evaluate Bregman. All right, change up strike there and knuckle curve here. This is going to be his last inning, the 8th.
Just to get to the spot you love.
Little looper, CJ well placed, gets the out there. Also, the squirrel will eat your car wires. How do you know about that? Because somebody ate one of my car wires one time at the Denver airport. When I came back, my car wouldn't start up because the wires got eaten. Crazy comment right there, Dano. All right, 3-pinch punch out of Ramirez finishes him with the sweeper. This is disgusting. Up and in. But it's like 88, so it's so nasty. All right, here's Dansby, overcooks that. Wood's expected to be back in about 2 weeks. What do I think about Zaire Hope struggling in his Tigers organization? I mean, I don't have any thought about it yet because he just got there, and it's not like I've watched him much, so no thought about it yet. But if it's anything weird, it's probably coincidental. All right, so a walk here. Interesting 3-0 sweeper, and this will be his last batter, Conforto. Any current favorite players? I mean, tons. I love a lot of the players in the game right now. I mention them as they go.
Dugout, 1-1.
Was there a bit of an adjustment period for you going from having Coors as your home park to a normal park? Not a huge adjustment. I just felt like I felt a little better physically, and then you know your pitches are going to move a little more consistently over the course of the year. Yeah, rat or raccoon? Good question. Well, ask McNeil and Francisco. All right, 2-2 knuckle curve. Still pumping 88.5 mile-an-hour knuckle curves here in the 8th inning. And he's going to finish this game with the sweeper called strike. So Cavalli, similar to Gavin Williams, just absolutely ripping dynamic sweepers and curveballs. Just pitching with anger. And, man, he's been super consistent. So that was pretty impressive to watch. Really good breaking stuff from him all day long. All right, let's skip to the Field of Dreams game. And let's see what type of... Let's see what type of camera angles we're even going to get in this game. Ooh, why did I go to MLB game day? I want to go to... That's weird. Are we even going to get the proper... This sent me away from Baseball Savant. That's crazy. I've never seen that happen. So anyway, here's the box score of this game. There was a few home runs. Luke Keishel homered off Nola in the 2nd inning. Schwarber had 2 bombs, both off of Taj Bradley. And Marsh hit a home run off of Adams in the 7th. On the mound, Nola 5 innings, 1 run, 3 walks, 9 Ks. Bradley got crushed. 4 innings, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, the 2 home runs. Raley with a good outing. That's good to see. Offensively, 3-hit game for Arise, 2-hit game for Schwarbs. Both home runs. Marsh, 2-hit game and 2 walks. All right, let's go over to this game. See if we can find it. So it's Twins and Phillies. Damn it. Let's see what kind of camera angles we got for this game. First, let's watch Schwarber's home runs. So here's his first at-bat versus Taj Bradley. Here we go from Iowa. Four-seam up ball. Taj was throwing, really honed in on throwing that fastball the first inning. The left leads just shelled him. So fastball, 2-0, 2-0 fastball, wham, into the cornfield. Pretty cool visual on the home run right there, I'm not going to lie. Just piping it out into the cornfield. Kyle Schwarber. Pretty cool one-off event. I didn't watch any of it, so I don't know how the coverage was or whatever, but they built a very cool stadium, MLB did out here. I was supposed to go to this event, but my kids got home from camp, so got dialed in with some dad stuff. But man, Schwarber with a bomb into the, this is the third base angle. Nice angle on it. I mean, it's not quite side, but pretty fun angle to look at. How hard was that? I'm going to guess 108. Only 99.6, so I couldn't have been more wrong. What's the high home look like in this field? Interesting. That was Schwarb. And then his second home run, also off Taj Bradley.
It was a message, it was a lesson.
Into the corn. Yeah, I'll do probables probably after this. I don't think I'm going to get to Logan Gilbert, guys. Got a lot of stuff going on. Next show will be Monday. Yeah. All right, is that fastball, fastball? Okay, sinker. This is going to be a home run on the sinker. This one he hit harder. Had to be at least 105. 108 on this one. Just hit it really high. Oh, it was in his glove and then not in his glove. I do think it would have went over, but it also could have been caught. Oh, God, he had it. Instead, it dunks over. Oh, how high did he hit that? 39 degrees on that. Wow. Yeah, you think these are the rabbit balls? It wouldn't surprise me, but we'll see. Need a better matchup than Phillies Twins. Yeah. I'm on Yes next weekend for the next Yankees Blue Jays series. All right, as for Aaron Nola. Let me check up on Nola really quickly on the StatCast because I'm pretty sure that he's been looking a little better lately. I feel like he's been a little better his last couple games. He's at a 5.33 through 25 starts. He's basically 5 and dive at this point, huh? Sort of. 5 2/3, 1, 6.3, 5.2, 5.1. That's not a bad it's not dominant, but it's not a bad 4-start run for Aaron Nola, and he had 9 punchies in this one. So let's just watch the strikeout pitches. I don't need to do a whole breakdown, but let's watch the strikeout pitches. Here's the first one to Josh Bell. Knuckle curve. That's his best pitch by far. That was a banger. Now, you see the difference between like him and Cavalli. Cavalli's throwing this pitch at 88 with similar break, so crazy on Cavalli, but nice curveball there by Nola for the strikeout of Josh Bell. Next strikeout's going to be Cody Clemens, strikeout on a curve as well. Brandon Marsh loves doing the in-game interviews, by the way. Loves it. Very similar pitch here. A little curveball below zone. Punches out Clemens. Here's the home run just to see it. Keishel's going to get him on a sinker.
Very hard to do what he does so often.
Great swing, actually. That ball's middle in. Actually, probably in. Marsh almost dies on the fence, but 1-0-1-2 for the home run. So there's the home run. All right, Culpepper strikeout. This is on a knuckle curve. This guy just got called up. So all three of the first 3 strikeouts are on curves. Here is Jeffers. He's going to punch out on a knuckle curve as well. How much do players get paid for the in-game interviews? I think it's like $10K. It's either 5 or $10K on ESPN. Pretty sure. Yeah, that's nasty. All right, Royce Lewis going to punch him out with a curve. So all of the first 5 strikeouts are curveballs. Not really a surprising thing there. And then he's going to get a strikeout here. Also knuckle curve of Clemens. So first 6 strikeouts all on knuckle curves. If Nola can get you to 2 strikes without overexposing the curve, he's going to get a lot of strikeouts. All right, Culpepper. Another one with knuckle curve. Nasty. And Larnick. This one is a fastball. So finally a strikeout, not on a curve. But you know what's a good sign for Nola and Phillies fans? That's 93-3. Yeah, it's not 98, but that's a good heater for Nola, and that'll definitely play if he's got the curveball working at the top of the zone. Wham. Nice pitch. Very nice. And he's got one more strikeout, and it's Royce Lewis to end his outing. We'll watch all 3 pitches. This is his outing. He had bases loaded here, so this was a huge out. Curveball strike. Four-seam up and away, strike, 0-2, no ABS challenge, so I think that was a ball. And now he's going to punch Lewis with a really good curveball away. So, yeah, I mean, he's not probably an ace anymore, but he's pitched a little bit better lately. That's going to help the Phillies. Phillies, you know, I don't know if they're going to be able to get back into it in the division or not. They're pretty far out now, but they have the wild card to protect. And it's getting tight in that National League wild card. Like, they're only a half game ahead of the Diamondbacks. So every game here is massive. If Nola can contribute, that's massive for the Phillies. It just is. And I know it's been a tough year, but the expected numbers say they should be better than what he's going through. So I know he works hard. I know he's hard-nosed. I know he'll continue to go out there and give his best effort. Hopefully he can find a little bit of rhythm for the Phillies as we go the rest of the game. All right, it is 12 o'clock. My video just dropped, so I'm going to get on out of here. I know I didn't watch Gilbert and a couple other people that were suggested, but we'll be back for the stream on Monday. Let me do probable pitchers now. I know a quick look at Gilbert. I just, I got to get going. I got to help pack up. My family's going to London tomorrow, so I got to help with all that. And me and Archie are staying home, so we got a lot of stuff I got to take care of today, and the girls will be here soon. All right, go ahead and watch the vlog after this if you're interested. It's a good one. It's a fun one. All right, Cardinals Cubs. Fun series today starting from Wrigley. Liberatore and Clay Holmes. So to me was one of the best pitchers traded. Let's see how he looks today. I might have overrated Liberatore with my talk earlier, but let's see. Sometimes he does turn in a pretty nasty outing. Marlins Reds. Sandy, who's been great, and Chase Burns, who's been great. Really tough news on Hunter Green. 2 Tommy Johns this close together. God, that stinks for the Reds and for him. All right, Red Sox Pirates. Jake Bennett, who's slowed down a bit, but I expect him to pitch well still. And Bubba Chandler has actually pitched better, I'd say, than he did first half of the year. White Sox Tigers, Newcomb and Jackson Jobe. This is a fun one to watch. Everybody, if you haven't seen Jackson Jobe, he's unbelievable. Nats Mets. Alvarez Robert Stock. Padres Guardians, Michael King, Gavin Williams, who's trying to make a late charge for the Cy. I mentioned that stat earlier. I think of his last 5 starts, 55 Ks, 3 walks. That's pretty good. Orioles, Rays, TBA, Steven Matz. Diamondbacks, Braves, Fott and TBA. Yankees, Jays, Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber from Rogers Center. Mariners, Astros, George Kirby, Peter Lambert. I mentioned this is put up or shut up time for the Mariners, in my opinion. Royals, Angels, Lugo, Grayson Rodriguez. Rangers, A's, Kumar Rocker, and TBA. Brewers, Dodgers. Dodgers looking to bounce back after that blown save yesterday. Robert Gasser and Yoshinobu Yamamoto from LA. Right? Yep. And then the last game tonight is Kyle Freeland at the Giants, Landon Roop. So that's it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate everybody who joined me on all the platforms today. The vlog just dropped. It's a fun one, I promise, especially if you are into 90s Yankees players. There's a lot of those guys. So I will see you guys on the next stream, which will be Monday, same time, 10 a.m., TikTok and YouTube. And that's it. Try to have a great weekend. Should be some great baseball this weekend, so we'll catch up, and then we'll do a nice weekend review on Monday. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me today and really all the time and all the support. You guys have been great, and I'll catch you on the next stream. All right. Have a good one.